Good morning, everyone. Welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep. My name is Alpa Sharma and this is our editorial analysis. I hope I'm clearly visible and audible to everyone. Very good morning, Vishal, Purva, Preeti, Achal, Harsh, Tanu, Falguni, Shriya, Poonam, everyone. Very good morning. Can you hear and see me clearly? Hi, Shivangi. Good to see you guys back. Good morning, Vaishnavi. Good morning, Nikita. Yes. Hi, Dia. Clearly visible and audible. Hi, education lover. Okay, so I couldn't see you on Monday. Yes, Falguni. I didn't see you on Monday because I was occupied with some work. But yes, back with another class and two very interesting articles. Hi, Ragini. Hi, Krishna. Hi, Tanya. Good morning. So, two very important articles, very interesting articles. What are the sources of the articles? Let me tell you. The sources of the articles both are from the Hindu. So, both the articles I'm going to take today are from the Hindu. The second article has my heart. I love that article and I'm going to tell you something very interesting from that piece of article. And I'm sure you can guess what article that is going to be. So we'll take out all the vocabulary from those two articles. We'll memorize the words. In the end, we'll discuss the tone of the author. You might write down the summary of the articles under my video in the comment section. And we will look at the important articles that have appeared in the last 2 days of Hindu, Indian Express, Guardian, Aeon. And we're going to be working on them. Very likely next week I'll be bringing one Aeon article. We haven't done that in quite a while. So, क्यों क्लास नहीं होगी बच्चे? क्लास हो रही है श्रेया? Good morning. Shreya, can't you hear and see me? Okay, I think everyone else can. So that is about the articles today. Shall we start with the vocabulary, everyone? Ready? Here we go. So, let's start with the first slide of our vocabulary. The first word is exert. When you put in a lot of effort to do something, is exerting yourself. He needs to exert himself to try to find an answer. He needs to put in more effort, a lot of effort. Something that's effort taking from your side is exerting. I'll tell you a grammatical rule here as well. Exert is a word which will always be followed by a reflexive pronoun if you're using it for a person. Okay, so it's a word, exert, presented, absented. These are few words which will always be followed by a reflexive pronoun. Himself, myself, themselves, these are reflexive pronouns. So he need to exert to try to find an answer will be wrong. He need to exert himself to find an answer will be the correct one. She presented herself, she absented herself. These words, if used for the person, will always be followed by a reflexive pronoun. That's grammatical rule here. Okay. So, travails, drudgery, impose is a related word. Fecund is a related word. Assiduous, arduous, laborious. Yes, these are exact synonyms. Correct. So, these are synonyms to exert. Let's look at the next word. Steered away. So, basically, changing your direction from one to the other. That is steered away. I steered away from the truck that was stopped in the middle of the road. You changed your direction. You tried to guide your vehicle, yourself to some other direction so that you're protected. So steering away is guiding the movement of something. Your movement, a vehicle's movement is steering away. So car ka steering wheel hota hai, usi se link kar lena. You can steer away yourself as well. Not necessarily for a vehicle as well. Okay. Hi Movies, good morning. Toil, yes Shreya, toil is an exact synonym to exert. Deviate, yeah. Binger, related one. Deprive nahi hoga. Evading ho sakta hai, yes. Changing the course ho sakta hai, yes. Asmita Singh, how to write the summary of an editorial. Okay. So Asmita, when you read an editorial, one thing that you should always look for, and everyone who doesn't know that, one thing that you should always look for in whatever piece of writing that you're reading, and that is why answering why has the article been written. And the answer to this will be your summary of editorial, of reading comprehension, of any article that you're reading, the gist, the main idea. The answer to this question, why is this written? Why is this piece written? What is it exactly trying to say? Answer these questions. The answer would always be the summary. And always try not to write the summary in more than one line. It has to be crisp, precise, and it has to include every important thing the author is trying to portray through the passage. So we need to find out the gist of it, not every premise that talks about an explanation of the idea. The idea is important. I hope you are clear with how to write the summary of any article that you're reading. Hi, good morning with okay, Alexandra. Okay, difficult to read your name. Okay, maneuvering for steering away. Yes, correct. Directing also is an exact synonym to steering. Editorialized. We read editorials. We've been doing that for quite a while now, even more than a year. I've been doing this editorial analysis on this platform. And editorialized is basically expressing opinions. What do you see in editorials? You see opinions, right? You have a news that was published in the first page or the second page. In the editorial, it's full of opinions about that news clipping. So, expressing opinions rather than merely news and reporting the news where it has opinions. The first and the second page will not have opinions. What the author thinks about that piece of news is editorializing something. So the BBC itself was not to editorialize about the news or matters of the public policy. It said, no, we're not going to give any opinions about that. That is going to be editorialized. The same thing is the main point of the author, Anushka. The gist, the summary, the main point, the argument, the central theme, the title, all of these are the same thing, my child. All of these. They are precisely asking you, why is this article written? You need to find that out. And trust me on this, everyone. If you're targeting 22 CLAT or 23 CLAT, irrespective of that, whatever piece of writing that you're reading, be it a reading comprehension or not, or an editorial, you need to answer this question, even if there's not a direct question on the main idea. Because answering this question will also help you answer many, many more questions like inference questions, title questions, tone questions, all these are. And structure of the passage question, what is the conclusion question? All of these are dependent on your ability to understand the main idea. So make sure you answer this in your head. Make a flow. कि कैसे ऑथर स्टैंस चेंज करते जा रहा है, कैसे इंफॉर्मेशन फ्लो हो रही है, अल्टीमेटली बोलना क्या चाहता है भाई, वो बोलना चाहता है वो आपका जिस्ट या मेन आइडिया होगा. ओके, ऑल राइट. सो एडिटोरियलाइज, कमेंट, ऑब्जर्व, opine, yes, remark, weigh in, correct Ragini, all are correct. Ma'am, why the class didn't show schedule on the BYJU'S? It did. It did, bache. I don't know, for some reason you might not have found it, but it did. Scrubby girl, I'll clear your doubt here. You are not trying to find conclusions. When you find more than one, you are looking at inferences. There's a difference between an inference and a conclusion. I hope you know that. Okay? Yes, Gulshan, absolutely. That will ensure in one passage you will for sure be able to find 3 correct answers. Kaise bhi questions ho. Okay? Chaliye, aage badhte hain. I hope you understand a bit about the main theme, idea and gist. The last word for the slide, oversight. So oversight, you actually don't notice something is oversight. You are unable to notice the main idea. You might fall prey to the trick of the author. That's an oversight. You're confused between inference and conclusion. That's an oversight. You're not confused, rather you forgot, you missed out on locating it. He had simply missed persons out by an oversight. He failed to notice it. So failure to notice is oversight. That's slide number 1, my children. Take a screenshot very quickly. Yes, Sakhi, it should be. It was visible to me, bache. Ma'am, I'm unable to find title based questions, always do wrong, how to get correct. Vaibhav, I'll help you. आज मुझे लग रहा है बहुत सारे रीडिंग कॉम्प्रिहेंशन क्वेश्चंस आ रहे हैं, which is natural because the examination is approaching. I will choose to answer this question as well. पता है बच्चे क्या होता है? Title is nothing but the main idea in a shorter form. Two things that you need to remember while you're answering the title. Where's my marker? Yeah, here. Guys, you'll have to give me a second. I can't see my marker. Yeah, here it is. Okay. So one thing that you need to, rather two things that you need to keep in mind while you're trying to answer the title is that, what have I written? Is that one, the author does not try to check your creativity. Okay. So please don't choose the creative options. Old is gold. एक crappy options होते हैं. आपको वही option choose करना है जो main idea बता रहा है. The more detailed the option, the better it is. One option that encompasses almost every aspect of the passage and it has always to be done by eliminating options. Title आप कभी भी randomly एक option choose करके mark नहीं कर सकते हो. You have to eliminate. The same goes with the main idea questions. You have to eliminate 3 options to fixate upon one answer. तो इन चारों में से कौन सा ऑप्शन सबसे ज्यादा डिटेल्ड है, सबसे ज्यादा चीजें इंक्लूड करता है पैसेज से, वो ही आपका करेक्ट टाइटल होगा, वही आपका करेक्ट मेन आइडिया होगा. आई होप दैट विल हेल्प यू get this kind of question correct. Okay. For people who are trying to find my video in the app, it will no more be visible in the app. This video is now restricted only to our YouTube channel. I'll be live only on our YouTube channel. Okay. So Movies, the theory that I've given you, I think that's going to help you. Certainly not Sakhi. Beat around the bush or beat about the bush, not behind. Okay. Movies, you don't have to read more, but comprehend better. Yes, Krabigal, that's the point. Okay. Ma'am, no, Prachi, that did not happen, but somebody else is going to take that. Okay, let's move on. Slide number 2. Transcending. Transcending is from one position, you surpass something else, you transcend it. So he doubts that he will ever transcend Shakespeare. Maybe he wants to surpass the kind of writings Shakespeare gave us. So surpassing something is transcending. Usually in terms of achieving something is transcending. Next one, chronicling. Chronicling is record of things that have happened. The Chronicles of Narnia. Yeah, so chronicles are basically record and usually in a timeline, in the same order of the things that have happened. A series of events, the record of these is chronicles. His work chronicles 20th century migration. So it started from this, records of all the 20th century migrations, chronicling. So that record of a timeline, a series of events is chronicling. Okay, next one, transformation for transcending a related word. Okay. Hi Kunal. Next word, wallow. So wallow is, you see, I'm sure हमने इंडिया में बहुत देखा होगा, cow के babies calves होते हैं, dogs होते हैं, या buffaloes होती हैं. They usually roll over in the mud. And why do they do that? Because the mud gets stuck on their body and that keeps them cool. So wallow is that process of rolling in the mud. Children also do that. And that's a very good thing. My child does that. So they were watering places where buffaloes like to wallow. So they like to roll around and put mud. Looks so good. I actually want to do it. And putting mud all over your body, that's wallowing. The last word, ferment. एक fermentation process है जो आपको पता है. We make idli dosa batter by fermenting it. We make chole bhature by fermenting it. We make bread by fermenting the yeast. That's a different ferment. Any other contextual usage of ferment? Here it is. So basically, to ignite something, usually in a negative connotation, to make a pandemonium, a chaos, to start the pandemonium and chaos is to ferment. The politicians and warlords who are fermenting this chaos, they're actually inciting, they're putting oil, ghee to the fire, fuel to the fire. That's fermenting. Okay? Yes. Okay, ma'am, what should be a good marks in BYJU'S marks? 90 plus. Okay? Yeah, in Holi, yes, Gulshan, that's what we do. आज इतने कम बच्चे क्यों हैं? For some reason, there are very, very few people live. कोई बात नहीं, classes फिर भी होंगी. Okay, so on that note, will you please like my session and share my session? Please do that, my children. Okay. Ferment for engender, trigger, provoke, flare up, incite, trigger, stir, all are synonyms. Absolutely correct. Stimulate, yes, Shreya. Engender as well. Exacerbate, yes. Ferment फिर से बताऊं? आंचल, ferment पता है क्या होता है? Ferment is basically जब आप कहीं कोई एक डिस्टर्बेंस क्रिएट करते हो या फिर उस डिस्टर्बेंस को बढ़ाते हो. जब हम इडली डोसा बैटर फर्मेंट करते हैं तो क्या डिस्टर्बेंस होता है उस बैटर में? ऑफ कोर्स होता है. यस, अंदर डिस्टर्बेंस होती है, चीजें राइज होती हैं. तो अगर हम कहीं डिसकंटेंटमेंट, डिससेटिस्फैक्शन को इंक्रीज करने में हेल्प करते हैं ना, वो सिचुएशन को हम फर्मेंट बोलते हैं. ओके, लेट्स मूव ऑन टू द नेक्स्ट स्लाइड. स्लाइड नंबर 3. वे साइड, रोड का साइड इज वे साइड. वे and side. So the side of a road, edge of the road is wayside. Simple. Next, tumultuous is pandemonium, chaos, a melee, M-E-L-E-E. Okay. So tumultuous, applause. It was like a roar. It was like a noisy confusion. Everybody started clapping, applauding. That's the meaning of the word. Scrubby girl, that's a related word. Okay. All right. Yes, I hope everyone gets it. चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं with the next word. Coming of age. When somebody becomes an adult, formally an adult, you cross an 18 in our country, you come of the age. Time was when being offered a drink for the first time was a rite of passage, a coming of age. कि तुम 18 plus हो जाओगे तो तुम्हें first drink offer किया जाएगा. It was a practice, a ceremony of coming of age. Coming of age is when you formally become an adult. So a lot of you are on the verge of coming of age. Okay. Clamoring, vociferous, disorder, uproar, cacophony is a related word to tumultuous. Mayhem is scrubby girl. Yes, mayhem is. Bidlam, yes, correct. Next one, infuses. Infusing is basically, I'll give you an example. I make tea for myself. I put some ginger in it. Or I put some cardamom in it. So it's cardamom infused tea. Okay, that's one. ऐसा तो कुछ भी नहीं होता. Already crossed. Adolescent, adulthood. Adolescent thing, adulthood. Gulshan, it might not be a very pleasurable experience, but wait till you turn 18. That's a good thing that you can do. Now 19, a lot of you. ठीक है, आगे चलते हैं. So गलत डायरेक्शन में चल रही है चीजें. वापस आ जाते हैं. Infusing is to fill up something. Okay, it's spreading all over is infusing. Her work is infused with an anger born of pain and oppression. Okay, all these do you guys follow the Humans of New York, by the way? Infuses, specifically the sentence, her work is infused with an anger born of pain and oppression. If you follow the Humans of New York, please read the current series he has posted. It is pure love. It is pure love. If you follow that, if you don't know what I'm referring to, just don't go and find it out. But if you do, please follow. It's a beautiful, it's a set of 14 parts of a story. Initially, Dan promised is going to post 12, but then he posted 14, and you have to read that if you haven't done that yet. Okay, so spreading, superfluous, Contain is a little related. Imbibe, yes, that's an exact synonym. It is. So for infuses. The next word, conjured up, not the conjuring thing. Conjure up is to make up a picture in your head. Okay, so conjuring up a picture of his childhood, making up a picture in the head. Evoking an imagination is conjuring up. Next slide. Jaldi se screenshot le lo. I think slide number 3 hai. What series? Humans of New York. If you don't follow, then don't look for it now. Okay? If you follow Humans of New York, nothing happened to Savitri ma'am, Paridhi. She still is working here with us. She's my guru. Yes, she still takes classes. Okay? Nostalgia, yes. Ali, yes, you could. All right. So, conjuring up can be extrapolate. Yes, Eva, it can be. Karthik, I hope you're fine now. I hope you're absolutely fine. Take rest. Bounce up with all the glory. Next slide. Last word. Okay, how do you pronounce the word? Can anyone help me with the pronunciation? You can relate it to moment. Okay, so the correct pronunciation, let me see if anyone can find that out. Yes, Prachi, certainly after CLAT, not now. Okay, so the pronunciation is denouement. Denouement comes, denouement, either is correct. Denouement comes from a moment that's usually by the end of a story that gives the story a closure. जैसे आपने अगाथा क्रिस्टी और फॉर एग्जाम्पल शर्लॉक होम्स, बहुत ही सस्पेंस, फुल ऑफ सस्पेंस, बट द एंड इज वेयर एवरीथिंग इज डिस्क्लोज्ड. Which was this movie? 2 अक्टूबर को कहाँ गए थे हम? Which was this movie? Drishyam. Yes. So Drishyam, the movie is full of suspense, but in the end it's resolved. No, but Drishyam doesn't resolve things in the end. It's open to imagination. Okay, so denouement is where things are resolved in the end. They're explained, they're given a closure. That's a denouement. The film's denouement was unsatisfying and ambiguous. It wasn't a closure here. There was no closure. Okay. Yes, Sharvari, you're right. Yes, Krabby Girl, certainly. How could I miss that article, my child? I could not have missed the Ruskin Bond article. I love this man. और लिटरेचर पे हमने बहुत टाइम से कोई आर्टिकल नहीं लिया था, तो बिफोर आई स्टार्ट वन, इफ यू टारगेटिंग क्लैट 2023, नया बैच है, जल्दी से एनरोल कर लो. जल्दी एनरोल करोगे तो your chances of getting through will be higher. We have the best of the faculty in the entire country. Don't look no further. जल्दी जल्दी से एनरोल कर लो. और हम दो आर्टिकल करेंगे आज. एक है the search algorithm in action and the other is on Ruskin Bond. But I think I would start with the Ruskin Bond article. Yes? Okay. So, अच्छा हाँ वो सत्संग में गए थे. Yes, now I remember. सत्संग. Yes. So, चलिए, let's move on. आपस में बातें बंद कर दो. We will start. नहीं, let's start with this article. ये simple वाला है और फिर रस्किन बॉन्ड का आर्टिकल. एंड एक सरप्राइज आप लोगों को बताऊंगी मैं. Not surprise. I'll tell you something very interesting about my own life that relates to Ruskin Bond in the end of the article that we do. So let's start with the algorithm in action. Okay. So why are algorithms used for dominant search engines like Google, for example? When you search something, algorithm क्यों use होता है? And why is this algorithm a threat to our own privacy? It's a simple fundamental here. The algorithm saves the cookies, and through the cookies, it gives you ads. But, for example, this is the most popular search engine, Google. Now let's talk about this. Google gives us, I search for fruits, okay, on Google. And then I keep getting ads of fruits on partners of Google or those apps that are owned by Google. Can I say Google prioritizes its subsidiaries or it favors its own products? It could. Why wouldn't we? Why wouldn't Google? If I am working for BYJU'S exam prep and I teach for CLAT and somebody asks me कि मैम मुझे BBA का preparation करना मैं कहाँ जाऊँ? I'll obviously say BYJU'S exam prep, right? So Google का अपने ही products को favor करना justified है? Same analogy देखो. I will say come to BYJU'S exam prep for BBA or for IAS, for CAT. I'll always promote the organization I'm working for. So is Google actually right in favoring Is Google right in favoring its own products by providing data to its own products on priority? What do you think? Take the same example that I gave you about BYJU'S exam prep. Will Google be right in doing that? No. No. No, my children, no. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. While I promote BYJU'S exam prep for any other course because I am an employee here, it's not a breach of your privacy. Whereas when Google provides your information to its own products, it is a loss for others where there's a fair competition and it breaches your privacy. So professionally, yes, but morally, no, Gulshan. That's my point. It's going to be absolutely wrong. When I ask you to enroll for a program in BYJU'S exam prep or BBA or IAS, though I might not be teaching in the IAS vertical, yet I promote that because I might genuinely believe that the teachers that we have is the best in the industry. But when I share your personal data, imagine if I did this, I share your personal data. That's when the problem arises. Exactly. And it obstructs your point of view because you will know exactly what is visible to you. And you will not know, you can't verify it from other sources. Okay? Yes, Saki, it is. Now, of course, it is right for itself. Apne business ke liye to wo acha hai. Now, let's understand this. Algorithm play a crucial role for search engines as they process millions of web searches every day. Yeah, of course. आप ही दिन में इतनी सारी चीजें search करते होंगे, word meanings and all. With the quantity of information available on the internet growing steadily, search algorithms are becoming increasingly complex. Of course, they are becoming complex so that they can find out the exact thing you're looking for. And they can hit you at the right place, promote themselves wherever it's necessary, raising privacy and other concerns and drawing the attention of regulators. Because since your search information is shared, एक simple example देखो ना, if I'm looking for flight tickets to Goa, within 2 days, वो flight tickets ऐसे exorbitantly increase हो जाएंगी क्योंकि वो मेरे search engine में saved होंगे cookies. That's how I can be cheated. It's a breach of my privacy. Last month, UK's digital watchdog said that they will take a closer look at algorithms, seeking views of the benefits and risks of how sites and apps use algorithms as well as inputs. Algorithm क्या है ये सबको समझ में आया, right? The whole technique that analyzes your search history as well as inputs on auditing algorithm, the current landscape and the role of regulators. So basically now people are more keen, specifically in UK, and they want to check out on algorithms that how they're functioning and is it actually a breach of your privacy or not. Here. Now do you understand how Google makes money? हमारे लिए तो free है. We just have to type into the search bar of Google and it comes here. We know how YouTube makes money. We know that by ads, by giving you a paid subscription, ad-free subscription. But now I hope you know how Google makes money. It majorly makes money by providing data to people who need it. and providing it for free to its own sources, more of it to its own products. That's the most amount of money Google makes from. Okay. Yes, Sakhi, you're right. And that's why I don't give my Android to my younger cousins. They will do. Scrubby girl, correct. चलिए आगे देखते हैं. An algorithm specifically essentially in a series of instructions. It can be used to perform a calculation. Now, it's explained what an algorithm is. It performs calculations, find answers to questions, or solve a problem. So whatever you type, the algorithm gives you the answer. Search engines use a number of algorithms to perform different functions prior to displaying the relevant results. अब देखो क्या होता है. I look for the best English teacher in India. Okay? Can I pay Google and bring my name at the top? Can I do that? Yes, of course I can. Of course I can. Who does it? The algorithm. What you look for and what's the first result, the first page and the sequence of results that come up. All this is digital marketing. All of this is. Of course I can. क्या बात कर रहे हो तुम लोगों को पता नहीं है ये चीज? Of course I can pay Google. That's all digital marketing. I'm surprised. You guys did not know that. A lot of you did not know that. अच्छा, okay विवेक, yes. बिल्कुल कर सकते हो. Yes सखी, बिल्कुल कर सकते हो. सिर्फ इस क्वेश्चन के आंसर के लिए मैं गूगल को पे कर सकती हूँ कि मेरा नाम टॉप पे आना चाहिए. That's called ranking. Yes. The more you pay, the better your ranking is. What do you think? सबसे ऊपर कौन से प्रोडक्ट्स आते हैं कोई चीज परचेज करना हो तो? I will pay Google, Tanu, and Google will do it for me. Simple. ऐसे ही तो गूगल पैसे बनाएगा ना. So, search engines use a number of algorithms to perform different functions prior to displaying relevant results to individual search request. According to what you're looking for. आपको search request. एक बात बताऊं मैं आपको, अगर आप best English teacher in CLAT डाल दोगे ना, आपको automatically CLAT coaching के ads आने लग जाएंगे. You did not look for CLAT coaching, yet you will find ads. That's what algorithms do. Tech giant Alphabet in Google, whose flagship product is the Google search engine. Of course, उनका flagship product है, main product ये था, पहला product था, is the dominant player in the search market. Yes, that's what we go to, where we go to for searching anything. Its search engine provides results to consumers with the help of its ranking system. Yes, that's the ranking system. सबसे ऊपर किसका आना चाहिए? Ad, which are composed of a broad set of algorithms that sort through web pages in search of index to find the most appropriate result in quick time. But appropriate kya? According to my need? No, according to who pays more. Its search algorithm considers several factors, including the words and expressions of users' query, relevance, usability of pages, expertise of sources, and the user's location and settings, according to the firm. Aapko pata hai? I was in Jaipur a few months back. I relocated to Bangalore. I relocated. Automatically, I started getting ads about things in Bangalore, restaurants to eat out at and XYZ things. How? The algorithm does that. कैसे पता चला Google को कि मैंने relocate कर लिया भाई? कैसे पता चला? I might have taken a flight. The details are saved. I logged in, I booked a ticket through my Gmail account. That is saved. Yes, I might have changed the delivery address of my milk packets daily to a Bangalore address in Milk Basket. That's saved. All this is done by algorithm. So that's not a surprise. Okay? Yes. Exactly. Yes, Abhinav, you're right. They know my location. So, its search algorithm considers several factors, all of this. and that's when the results are shown. Okay, if I search best fruits, it will come buy fruits in Bangalore as the result. While Google captures a significant chunk of general search market, there are alternative search engines such as Microsoft's Bing, DuckDuckGo available for users to explore. We don't use them. Have you ever used Bing? DuckDuckGo? No, never. The latter, a privacy-focused search engine, claims it does not collect or share users' personal information. So that probably is a way to try to get an advantage over Google, but Google ने इतना बड़ा market establish किया हुआ that is going to take up a lot of time. In January, market leader Google generated 61.4% of all core search queries in the US. So, search किसी ने कुछ भी किया, answer Google से आया 61% लोगों का. According to the database company Statista. During the same period of time, Microsoft sites handled a quarter of all search queries in the US. So, Microsoft का सिर्फ 1/4 था, but 61% was Google. So, you know, major player अभी भी Google है, और Google के पास बहुत सारे और प्रोडक्ट है जहां हम अपने ऐड दे सकते हैं. As the algorithms used to deliver results would vary from one search engine to another. Yes. So, आप Bing से कुछ सर्च करोगे, उसका एल्गोरिथम डिफरेंट होगा गूगल से, या डकडकगो का बिल्कुल अलग होगा गूगल से. सबके एल्गोरिथम्स अलग होते हैं. लाइक डकडकगो सेज दे डोंट सेव एनी काइंड ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन, और वो ऑल्टर नहीं करता एल्गोरिथम से. सो उनका एल्गोरिथम डिफरेंट होने वाला है. सो मोरोवर द रिजल्ट्स ऑन डिफरेंट यूजर्स वुड बी रेयरली सिमिलर. आप कुछ सर्च करोगे तो आपका रिजल्ट कुछ और आएगा, मेरे लिए कुछ और आएगा बच्चे. ऑब्वियसली बिकॉज ऑफ माई सर्च हिस्ट्री, बिकॉज ऑफ माई लोकेशन. सो आपका रिजल्ट मेरा रिजल्ट. आप किस सर्च इंजन से सर्च करते हो, मैं किस सर्च इंजन से सर्च करती हूँ, सबके रिजल्ट्स वेरिएबल होंगे अकॉर्डिंग टू द डिफरेंट एल्गोरिथम्स. इवन व्हेन सर्चिंग फॉर द सेम थिंग, since the algorithm takes into account multiple factors like your location and your search history. Okay, तो आपके रिजल्ट्स अगर आप क्लैट सर्च करोगे और मैं क्लैट सर्च करूंगी ना, तो हो सकता है, हो नहीं सकता, होगा कि आपके रिजल्ट्स और मेरे रिजल्ट्स बिल्कुल डिफरेंट होने वाले हैं. एनडीए कोचिंग, ओके. रेस्टोरेंट से निकलने के बाद मैसेज आता है, रेट योर एक्सपीरियंस इन द रेस्टोरेंट. यस, एब्सोल्युटली, गूगल से आता है, राइट? करेक्ट, करेक्ट. ओके, सो आगे देखते हैं. Or as the algorithms used to deliver results would vary from one search engine to another, when the user inputs a query, the results would also differ, and it would differ according to your location. Algorithms are often built using historical data, आपका search history, और इसीलिए इनकॉग्निटो मोड होता है. बट इनकॉग्निटो मोड बहुत सारे पेरेंट्स को डाउट में डाल सकता है आपकी एक्टिविटीज के बारे में. प्लीज डोंट यूज इनकॉग्निटो मोड. Don't try to make them a fool. Algorithms are often built using historical data for specific functions. Once developed, they go through frequent updates from the companies to enhance quality of search engine results presented to users. Of course, update होते रहते हैं क्योंकि चीजें चेंज होती रहती हैं, and technology is ever changing. So these algorithms also need to be updated. Most large search engine providers also bank on machine learning to automatically improve the user search experience, essentially by identifying patterns in previous decisions to make future ones. मैं आपको एग्जाम्पल देती हूँ. आज से 5 साल बाद आपको शायद एमबीए के एड्स आने लग जाएंगे, या एलएलएम के एड्स आने लग जाएंगे. Why? All of this is AI. आपका current decision will also determine your future decision. So after 5 years, you might get ads for these. Don't be surprised if you do. Okay? So ऑल राइट. बर्थडे पर किसी के विश करना है तो पता नहीं, बट गूगल, हाँ एब्सोल्युटली. एंड देन देयर इज गूगल फोटोज, है ना. लाइफ कितनी इजी होती है ना, गूगल पे पिक्चर्स हम डाल देते हैं, सब फोटोज एक जगह सेव हो जाती है, और फिर गूगल आपकी फोटोज आइडेंटिफाई करने लग जाता है. कितनी बड़ी प्राइवेसी थ्रेट हो सकती है, सोचो. ओवर द इयर्स गूगल हैज डेवलप्ड सच एल्गोरिथम्स एंड अपडेटेड देम कॉन्स्टेंटली विद सम मेजर अपडेट्स लाइक पैंडा, पेंगुइन, हमिंगबर्ड, रैंक. ऑल ऑफ दीज आर अपडेट्स. In May, it introduced another update to improve the search engine's ability to identify high-quality product reviews. And these product reviews, of course, may be paid. Search engines exert huge control over which site consumers can find. Of course, ये एक प्रोडक्ट खरीदना, कहां से खरीदो, कौन सी साइट दिखेगी आपको, वो सब कुछ डिपेंड करता है आपने कितना पे किया. Any changes or updates in their algorithm could also mean that traffic is steered away from certain sites and businesses, which could have negative effect on their revenue. Now comes the negative part. That is, if a website pays more, or rather if a website pays for the fact कि ये जो डेटा है, गूगल डिसाइड करता है कि मुझे इस वेबसाइट पे नहीं लेके जाना डेटा जो उसका कॉम्पिटिटर है. इट विल टेक गूगल सेकेंड्स टू ऑल्टर दैट. वो वेबसाइट आपको फर्स्ट 3 पेजेस में विजिबल नहीं होगी सर्च में, बट फर्स्ट 3-4 पेजेस में नहीं होगी. एंड हु गोज बियॉन्ड थर्ड एंड फोर्थ, थर्ड पेज पे भी आज तक आई डोंट रिमेंबर आई हैव एवर बीन टू. सो गूगल कैन, or any search engine can decide to avoid a website altogether completely and not present it in the search results. The search giants trackers have allegedly been found on majority of the top million websites. As per the DuckDuckGo blog post, this means they are not only tracking what you search for, but they are also tracking which websites you visit. ये भी ट्रैक, ऑफ कोर्स आपने क्लिक किया तो वो गूगल की मेमोरी में सेव हो गया, and using all your data for ads that follow you around the internet. Why do you think I keep getting ads on Indian Express about fruits? I had searched for buying fruits on Google in Bangalore, and then Google decides कि हम Indian Express पे ad देंगे क्योंकि ये Indian Express ज्यादा विजिट करती है, वहां ad दे दो. क्योंकि हिंदू में प्रिंट एडिशन में देखती हूं, सो वो विजिबल नहीं है. So according to the Council of Europe study, the use of data from profiles, including those established based on data collected by search algorithms, search engine directly affects the right to a person's informational and self-determination. That is, मैं डिसाइड करूंगी मुझे कौन सी वेबसाइट पे क्लिक करना है, तुम्हारा काम सिर्फ विजिबल कराना है वेबसाइट्स, एंड वो विजिबिलिटी लिमिटेड हो सकती है अकॉर्डिंग टू गूगल सर्च इंजन an algorithm. Google might decide not to show you some websites completely altogether अगर वो उसका competitor है तो. Most of the Google's revenue stem from advertisements. I have already explained that, such as those it shows consumers in response to a search query. ये मैं आपको explain कर चुकी हूँ. Best English teacher in India, आपको पता है आंसर अल्पा शर्मा आ सकता है. ठीक है? I can pay Google to do that. So DuckDuckGo, in addition to providing an alternative to Google search engine, you know, ये आपका सेव नहीं करता information, offers mobile apps and desktop browser extensions to protect users' privacy while browsing the web. ऐसा लग रहा है DuckDuckGo ने पे किया है क्या इस वेबसाइट को ये आर्टिकल पब्लिश करने के लिए? Looks like that. No, not Google Drive, certainly not. That's private, yes. Okay. All right. ठीक है. So, आगे क्या हुआ? DuckDuckGo ऐसा लग रहा है पेड आर्टिकल लेके आया है, कह रहा है हम नहीं सेव करते हैं कोई भी इंफॉर्मेशन. The privacy-focused firm in a blog post said that editorialized results informed by the personal information Google has on people, जैसे आपने क्या परचेज किया, आपने कहां से परचेज किया, आपने कौन सी वेबसाइट से परचेज किया, puts them in a filter bubble. और जब आप सर्च करके कुछ रिजल्ट देखते हो तो वो फिल्टर्ड आता है according to who has paid Google more, what Google wants you to see, and what you are more likely to click on. So if I buy makeup, Google knows I put makeup, वो मुझे makeup के ads दिखाता रहेगा, ये भी खरीद लो, ये भी खरीद लो. These search algorithms can be used to personalize services in the way that are difficult to detect, leading to search results that can be manipulated to reduce choice or artificially change your perceptions. Limited choice दिखेगा तो उसी में से परचेज करोगे ना, आपको लगेगा अवेलेबल ही नहीं है मार्केट में. Additionally, firms can also use these algorithms to change the way they rank products on the website. मैंने आपको समझाया था ranking, best English teacher. Some of these concerns have caught eye of the regulators, and as a result, these search algorithms have come under their own scrutiny. The European Commission has fined Google, चलो finding भी start हो गई है, for abusing its market dominance. Of course, अगर dominant हो आप market में, क्या आप अपनी authority को abuse कर सकते हो? No, you can't. Because you are a search engine and everybody goes to you, you need to be transparent here. And that's exactly why the fine. Moreover, under the Commission's proposal on the Digital Service Act, transparency measures of online platforms on a variety of issues, including the algorithms used for recommending content or products to use. देखो, transparency on products is one side of the story. Transparency on news also is the other side of the story. When I look for a news article, कौन से पेपर का आर्टिकल मुझे पहले दिखेगा? जब मैं न्यूज पे क्लिक करती हूं, किसका पहले न्यूज आएगा, किसका पहले आर्टिकल विजिबल होगा? And that newspaper might be biased. Can it alter my opinion? It could. So that's another side of the story. Majority of algorithms used by private firms online are currently subject to little or no regulation, including Google. So no regulation and सब कुछ paid है, सब कुछ rigged है. So विवेक, मैं कभी कभी आर्टिकल ले लेती हूँ जब का मुझे इंपॉर्टेंट लगता है. ओके एंड ये आर्टिकल है हिंदू से. ओके सो मोर मॉनिटरिंग एंड एक्शन इज रिक्वायर्ड बाय द रेगुलेटर्स. कोई रेगुलेशन अभी नहीं है. व्हाट्स द टोन ऑफ द ऑथर एवरीवन? व्हाट्स द टोन गाइस? टोन ऑफ द ऑथर बताइए. What's the tone of the author? That's good, Gulshan. Expository, yeah, and critical, yes. Argumentative बोल सकते हो गुलशन, बिल्कुल. ओके एक्सपोजिटरी एंड क्रिटिकल एज वेल. चलिए अब मेरे फेवरेट आर्टिकल पे चलते हैं, है ना? गिव मी अ सेकंड. हियर वी गो. बट उसके पहले CLAT 22 टारगेट कर रहे हो. बैच 3 ऑफ द क्रैश कोर्स हैज बीन लॉन्च्ड. जल्दी 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 से एनरोल कर लो, लेट मत करो. और गिव मी अ सेकंड. Ruskin Bond, 88-year-old man, writer, who stays in Landor, that's near Missouri, has written so many books about India, not about the history of India, but about ये एनालिसिस नहीं कर रहा बच्चे, ये प्योर क्रिटिसिज्म है ऑफ मैं बताती हूँ वैभव कैसे. इट्स प्योर क्रिटिसिज्म ऑफ हाउ गूगल इज टेकिंग एन अनफेयर एडवांटेज ओवर अदर्स, और कैसे रेगुलेशन अभी जरूरी है. ये इसीलिए क्रिटिकल है. ओके ठीक है, आगे चलते हैं. सो ही इज रिटन वेरी अ लॉट ऑफ शॉर्ट स्टोरीज. नाइट ट्रेन टू देवली फॉर एग्जाम्पल, बहुत छोटी 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 स्टोरीज है. एंड यूजुअली रस्किन बॉन्ड हैज रिटन स्टोरीज फॉर किड्स, simple to read, very nice, relates to our childhood, the kind of childhood we've had in India. बहुत simple सी stories है. And the writer from the hills is still doing what he does best. He talks about life and nature. And usually he writes books about children. Let's read about this. बहुत अच्छा article है, बिल्कुल reading comprehension बन सकता है ये article. Okay. Okay, chalo. So a young boy discovers a hidden pool inside a forest and rushes to inform his two best friends. The three embark on an exploration of the area to find the pool. They swim, try fishing, ride the buffaloes and that wallow in the pool, even try to enlarge the pool by building a dam. कि वो pool और बड़ा होता रहे. Such beautiful picture. It is 1857. India is in a ferment because of the British rule. When Ruth's father is killed by the Indian soldiers, the family finds shelter in a friend's house. But Javed Khan, the Pathan, leader of the rebels, finds them and kidnaps them. He falls in love with Ruth, but her mother will not allow her daughter to marry a rebel. That's another story. So, in the hidden pool, the first paragraph, it left you musing about friendships. How three friends, they go, they find a pool, they have fun, and the relationships that fall by the wayside. The relationships they made with the nature, with the buffaloes they rode, with their friends. A flight of the pigeons took one back into the tumultuous time. The flight back is the second article about the Ruth, about the rebel. Yes, so it takes us back to the old time. Two very very different books by the same author. ऐसा लग रहा है ना सेम ऑथर ने शायद लिखी नहीं हो ये दोनों बुक्स. Very different storylines. This article is from the text and context. Okay, so looks like two different people have written it, but written by the same author, Ruskin Bond. For many, Ruskin Bond is a children's author. Yeah, I read him while I was younger. No doubt he is. But Bond, who turns 88 on May 19, is also much more given. Then his writing includes novels, essays, short stories, and memoirs. Usually, these are short stories. In his Long Fox Dancing, Bond offers a moving account. Another book, Long Fox Dancing. He gives a moving account of his early years and, for good measure, references many of his stories. Now, see, when you read his writings, there are many times he refers back to his own childhood. He quotes instances from his own childhood. However, that was disappointing was to learn that all those fascinating tales and his eccentric grandfather were either made up or based on hearsay. He doesn't remember his grandfather. Yes, either बनाई हुई कहानियां थी जो लिखी थी तो थोड़ा सा हार्ट ब्रेक फील होता है कि भाई हमने तो तुम्हारी बुक पढ़ी थी सोच के ये रियलिटी है, बट ये सिर्फ कहीं सुनी बातें थी, so we don't know if it's reality or not. His life with his father and later his mother and the stepfather, trip to England and return to India, which he considers home now, are all dealt with in the Lone Fox Dancing. He talks about his life a lot here in these books. Yes, absolutely. The second one is very dramatic. His first book, The Room on the Roof, about a young boy's coming of age, just becoming an adult, was based on his own experiences of living in a rented room in Dehradun. So, very related to his own life. It won the John Rice Prize in 1957. Bond was then in London trying to make a living. Then publication of this novel allowed him to return to India. And that's when he settled down here. All I really wanted was my little room back again. So nostalgic, so emotional, he writes in his autobiography. Following his return, he settled in Missouri and began to write stories for magazines and newspapers, which were often published. I've read many of them. Rusty, his protagonist in The Room of the Roof. So he's named the character, the protagonist, the main character as Rusty. Okay? Ye jo Room on the Roof thi jo first novel thi. He makes a comeback in another novel, Vagrants in the Valley. So Rusty comes back in another novel. As you laugh over Rusty's and Kishan's adventures, you cannot help but muse over what loneliness and friendship mean to different people. Because the story Rusty in The Room of the Roof has a different context, whereas in the Vagrants in the Valley has a different context altogether. So loneliness and friendship may mean different things to different people. Most of his stories hark back to another time of simple lives in small places. आज से तो certainly different time altogether है. No technology, taking a train, long distance train, जहाँ आज हम 1 hour के लिए भी flight ले लेते हैं. So it's a time that's not known to most of us. But what keeps the reader coming back to them is the emotion. हाँ ऐसा लगेगा बहुत पुरानी कहानी है क्या? I don't understand this, I don't link it. But the emotion that's there, it's prevalent because emotion doesn't change with time. So the emotion that infuses these words, that remains constant. Bond's people are real. The emotions are real. The responses are real, like you and I would have reacted to a situation. Once you probably know and are familiar with. And that's exactly why The Room on the Roof, he wanted to come back to his room. The entire story is so relatable despite the fact कि वो 1957 से भी पहले लिखी हुई थी. It's a very relatable story. And that's why people keep coming back to his novels. In Friends in Small Places, another book that he wrote that dull people are those whose lives are too orderly and those who are forever boasting of the ease with which they have succeeded in life. कह रहा कितनी boring life है, कोई struggle ही नहीं तुम्हारी life में. कैसी ऐसी लाइफ हो सकती है कि बस मैंने एक दिन सोचा फ्लैट का फॉर्म फिल कर देंगे, अगले दिन मैंने दिल्ली में बैठा हुआ था. No, such a boring life. So you are dull if your life doesn't have all the struggle If you got success easily, you have a dull life. Then there are his descriptions of nature. Yes, full of nature. He writes things full of nature. Did you love it, Shreya? He has, Sakhi. I've read about his autobiography, and he has certainly. So let's talk about how he mentions nature. His use of words is sparse. छोटी बुक्स होती हैं, लिमिटेड सिंपल लैंग्वेज है, आपको इजीली समझ में आ जाएगी, बट द पिक्चर्स द बुक पेंट, एक एक इमेज है जो मेरे माइंड में ना, इट्स एज्ड, कि कैसे एक ट्रेन आके स्टॉप होती है एक रेलवे स्टेशन पे, और बाहर रेलवे स्टेशन का जो सीन है, एंड इट्स नाइट, एंड जो सीन है रेलवे स्टेशन का, इट्स डार्क, इट्स रेनिंग, इट्स स्टिल एज्ड इन माई माइंड. कितना सिंपल एक्सप्लेनेशन हो सकता है सोचो, बट हाउ यू यूज लिमिटेड वर्ड्स टू मेक दैट इम्पैक्ट इन द रीडर्स माइंड makes him a brilliant writer, a one that will live forever. Take these lines from his short story of The Leopard. Let's read a line from his an extract from his story. The stream ran close by the verge. Let's try to imagine that if you could. The stream ran close by the verge, tumbling over smooth pebbles, over rocks worn yellow with age, on its way to the plains and to the little song river, and finally to the sacred Ganga. Beauty, pure beauty, over rocks worn yellow with age. You could actually imagine the soft, curved pebbles, not rocky, but smooth pebbles, and how that stream mixes into the Ganga. The complete life cycle of a stream is conjured up, starting to the end, without any fuss, without being moralistic or preachy. कि ये बहुत मेहनत से फ्लो करके जाती है और मिलती है फाइनली गंगा में. The story also calls for coexistence with wild animals. Did you like this extract? Yes? Some struggle is subjective though, isn't it? Shafi, I would agree with you. Also, how you decide to deal with it is how you look at a struggle. That also is. Everybody has their own share of struggles. How you deal with it. Are you bothered enough, or you just sail through without being disturbed also is. Yes, absolutely, Shreya, how he has mentioned that. So, and his ghost stories, a personal favorite is A Fence in the Dark, which has found its way into school textbooks. The tale, many school textbooks have many stories written by Ruskin Bond. The tale is about a teacher's encounters with a strange boy and a school watchman. But what leaves you thirsting is that you don't know what happens at the end. There's no neat denouement. There's no closure. And I'm sure now you would want to read the book. A Face in the Dark. No closure. There's a watchman. There's a schoolboy. But who are they? Are they ghosts? We don't know. There's no closure. As I think of the pleasure in his writing has given me, I can't help but recall what he said about his writing. He said, I'm like a shopkeeper hoarding bags full of grains. Shopkeeper को बस grains रखने अपने shop पे, तरह के grains. He hoards words. He doesn't hoard grains. He's like a shopkeeper hoarding words. Look at the analogy. Look at the metaphor. There are still people who buy words. And I hope I can keep bringing a little sunshine and pleasure into their lives to the end of my days. Who are buying words here? The readers. He is a shopkeeper. He has grains. He sells it to the readers. And who wants grains? Words. And he hopes he can keep bringing little sunshine and pleasure into their lives the end of his days, because he's 88 years old. I hope you'll be doing that for a long time yet, Mr. Bond. I met Mr. Bond in 2014. I have a personally signed copy by him, a collection of his short stories, where he signed it personally for me. So, really good memories. What's the tone of the author, my kids? Why did you say this, Sakhi? No, don't. What's the tone? Praiseworthy? Yeah, certainly. Praiseworthy. Narrative hai, kuch parts, but mostly it's praising and laudatory. Yeah, mostly it is that. So, you have to give me a second before I take you forward. I have to show you something, and what I have to show you is just a minute. Give me a second, guys. I did a mistake. I have to tell you a couple of things. So we have a mega workshop that's happening. Let me tell you about the workshop. Give me a second. If you don't know about the workshop already, let me tell you that. So here we go. And here we go. Give me a second, my children. Yeah. Now, so we have flat 20% off going on all our classroom programs. Beat the exam heat, summer heat, whatever it is. Use the code summer20 and enroll yourself right away for this program. Any program that you wish to. Also, we have a mega workshop going to happen on our app. You have to register for the event. That's going to be happening on 14th of May, 4 p.m. Nivedita ma'am is going to be talking about how to ace legal reasoning for CLAT 2023. Enroll kar lena, register kar lena. Sharing the Hindu and the Indian Express in the background, my kids. So here we go. Exact should be praiseworthy. Okay. All right, guys, putting myself on mute for a second. Sharing Hindu and Indian Express in the background. 1 second. Yeah, so sharing Hindu and Indian Express in the background, everyone. I will. I will. Hindu, just a minute. Here it is. Give me a second. Sharing it. Yep. Hindu, आज का देखें? No, thank you. ठीक है. So here it is. Let's see what is important. What do we read today? Actually, don't leave without liking the video, okay? Okay. The end of the brand. Today, 11th. Yes, correct. You can only skim. Yes, this one is a good one. Please read that in detail. Yes, very good. This also is very, very, very important. Okay? Don't leave it. Next page. It's raining constantly, Sharvari. I would be taking classes on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Okay? Why would I not take class on 25th May? Why are you asking this? Gulshan, when you read a line, think what else could it mean without even looking at the options. Skim, leave, text and context. Read this. This is good. This is very good. You can skim through it, not very necessary. Let's look at the Indian Express. This is today's. Skim through it. Skim, equating states of budget borrowing with their debt. Skim, economic crisis in Sri Lanka. Skim, India's record on doping is cause for worry. Yes. Pulitzer of photographs for coverage of India's COVID tragedy underlines. Yes, this is good, good, good. Read this. From Ukraine, from Frankie, Ukraine. From Frankie to shawarma, all food is desi. Read this. Indigo episodes shows much needs to be done to ensure right to dignity. Yes, you had seen the video of how Indigo did not allow a specially able child to board the flight. Read that. Okay, and let's look at the Aeon. Shreya, even I did not understand. I'll be taking classes on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So I don't know what if it is 24th or 25th. Okay. This is lovely. Read this. The Panther Party. ये छोड़ देना बच्चे. अगर philosophy नहीं समझ में आती तो छोड़ देना. Don't take a lot of pressure about this. That's all for today, everyone. Then I shall see you again on Friday. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a very, very good day. And God bless all of you. Bye, everyone. Scrubby girl, they are going to be a little. That's why I leave the data article. Bye, everyone.